of you have spoken about infatuation, love, lust. I just want to take one step forward, and first you, Arya. When you fall in love, when you're infatuated, and the myth gets broken, or the person that you're in love with doesn't love you as much, and you get shattered. How do you deal with that? Have you ever gone through that? A carpet wala Kashmiri is coming and he's not as good looking or a gora as he was that you thought. How do you deal with that situation? Because though love could be pure and nice and great and encouraging, but the flip side can take you, and I'm sure there are quite a few other movies that we can bring about. So what is your take on that?
Okay, now I'm on. How many of you have seen the film Om Shanti Om? Okay, so you remember the famous dialogue from there where Shah Rukh's character says something regarding जब आप सच्चे दिल से कोई चीज़ चाहते हो तो पूरी कायनात. Exactly. It was also there in The Alchemist, by the way, by Paulo Coelho. But the point is that when we are deeply infatuated with somebody, or we think we are in love with somebody, we feel that no matter what the obstacles, love is going to triumph over everything else. But there is another very important saying which goes something like this: be careful of what you wish for, it just might come true. So can you imagine if any of those gentlemen that I had all those ridiculous crushes on had actually reciprocated the feeling? I would definitely not be sitting here an actress, I would be doing something else right now. I don't even want to think about that. So definitely I have, all my crushes, I was too shy to go up to anybody and say, oh, by the way, I like you. It even happened in my martial arts class, where I had all these crushes on all our instructors, most of them. They were strong, they were, brilliant. They were that typical macho man who could take care of me for the rest of my life. But thank God none of them reciprocated the feelings. So I am glad and thankful to them for it.
You don't know how it feels to be on the other side of the hill.
Oh, definitely. I have gone through, stages of feeling almost depressed, not fully so. And right now the object of my affection is sitting right there on the front row, checking out his phone and not listening to what I'm saying. Mr. Vikramjit Chaudhary. Well, hopefully this is more real than all the other crushes I've had so far.
Okay. So you preempted one of my questions I was going to ask you. Okay, so on the other side, what I would like to ask you is, on the lust side, or the sexual side, sometimes we've read in newspapers about, guys not getting what they want, either committing suicide or physically hurting the girl by something. Is it a psychological disorder?
Definitely yes. If you cannot control your if you cannot control your emotions and you do go to the extremes, like falling in love may not be an extreme, but then to get it and you go to an extreme that you attempt a suicide and actually you happen to commit a suicide, that is basically suicide.
As friends, as parents, as brothers and sisters, are there any signs that we should be wary of? Is there kind of warning signs? Because all of us live in a world where we all fall in love with each other. We might not get what our expectations are high, or the other person doesn't reciprocate. Are there any signs where we should know, or we or our family does come to know?
Probably the audience would know that better, half of them would have been fallen in love or infatuation somewhere or the other. The basic signs are again the same, Anything which hampers your daily life is one of the first signs. Anxiety symptoms could be the other signs, you're fidgety about things, you're not where you should be, you're always nervous about things, you're not performing well, you're not eating well, all those things. Like they always say, is it Lavaria or malaria or what,
Arya, when you were doing movies and you were acting scenes which are not only emotionally depicting love, but also, is it like a pure profession, or during the course of the making of the movie, you really get attracted to a guy, as a person, as anything else, or it's basically just very mechanical.
Well, so far I've only acted in one film, and I had two guys to deal with. One was playing this really lecherous, horrible rock star, who I was just trying to use to get ahead professionally. The other guy played a married man. So, and no, there were no crushes for any of them. But I would like to ask the doctor actually, because this is something I have gone through myself, where it is very difficult to differentiate between crush or infatuation and love, because both feel very intense, both make you not want to eat, not want to think about anything else but that person. So how do you know the difference?
Like I just told you, it's a very thin line which demarcates them, but if it is continuous, if it is long, actually it is love. But if it is infatuation, and like I just told you, there's an element of jealousy in love, you know, you don't want to lose the person to that. In infatuation, everything is blind, everything is like, you don't see anything beyond that person. In love, such a thing doesn't happen. Almost everything around you is almost normal. But there is something, there is a certain intense desire to a particular object that is a human being, of course.
And how many of you in the audience are in love right now? Finally, one break. Oh, two.
And
that's it.
Love doesn't necessarily mean falling in love with the other opposite sex. Love could be with. Why are you so conscious of not
I'm
raising?
only talking
All of us
about
are in love.
Love for the opposite sex here. Strictly.
So mother, sister, platonic love,
Opposite sex.
opposite sex. I have another question. Normally it's said about guys, and this is a guy-centric question. This guy has his heart on his sleeve. So every girl he sees, he falls for her. Is that like... Now, where is the thin line between actually having the heart on the sleeve in a good way and being frustrated? So, is there a demarcation, or I'm trying to bring another word, frustration, with having friends which are female, having to chat with girls, to hang around with girls, and to, things like that. This is what the kids, these days are counting their success, kind of by.
With no offense meant, clear-cut differences between Imran Hashmi or Devdas is.
So, are you trying to say Imran Hashmi is the thing that you should be?
I'm not putting words in your mouth.
Imran Hashmi got the girl at the end of the movie and Devdas died. I thought Imran Hashmi is a better guy than Devdas. I meant the character Imran Hashmi, not Imran Hashmi or Shah Rukh Khan. Who would you go for, Arya? Someone who finally gets you, or someone who dies for you?
Oh, if he's dead, the whole story is over.
No, but someone who was okay. So let's go to Veer Zara. Okay. Someone who's gonna Shah Rukh Khan.
I don't want to have grey hair by the time I find my true love.
I'm starting the story when both of them were young. So on the station, he says that, is the guy that you're going to get married to willing to give his life for you? That's a question that he leaves Preeti Zinta with. Now, would you go for that guy, or would you go for a pragmatic guy who's successful in life, has money, has, that's the question.
Part of me lives in La La Land, and in there, passion is extremely important. So definitely the guy has to sweep me off my feet and stuff. But at the same time, I would also like to say that, a lot of the time, as both of you just mentioned, peer pressure plays a part in us thinking that we have to hook up with somebody of the opposite sex. But, at the end of the day, our goal in life shouldn't be getting other people's approval. It's about what makes us feel good, what makes us feel right. And, as they say, to be loved by someone gives us immense strength, as at least some of you would definitely know. And in this case, I'm not just talking about the opposite sex. It can be your parents, it can be your siblings, it can be your teacher, it can be your guardian, mentor, anybody. It gives you immense amount of strength. But of course, when you love somebody, that takes a lot of courage on your part, I think, if you really, truly are able to love somebody else.
Great. Now, Dr. Thin line between friendship and love. Lover and a friend. Two guy and a girl, good friends, no love, take each other for granted, help each other study, communicate with each other. Many examples in the audience, I'm sure. And then a thin line, you don't come to know when you fall in love or whether you're in love. What's the line of demarcation between friendship and having to fall in love?
This one is going to be difficult actually. So a friendship actually converts into love the moment you go and propose like I love you sorts. Otherwise, basically most of us are actually friends with a lot of people, and that doesn't actually mean that we are in love with almost everybody. So love and hate actually are two very, very strong words, should be used slightly judiciously. So unless and until you admit to it, rest are friends.
Then ideally, I want to touch a subject which is marriage. Now, falling in love, getting married versus arranged marriage, and then falling in love. Your take on it? Is one better than the other, or Indian society has been living with the falling in love after marriage? Your take on it?
Well, for me, I think there are pros and cons in both of them. When it's an arranged marriage, the good thing about it is that you can spend a lifetime discovering each other because you don't know the other person. You're just getting to learn about that person as you get along. And when it comes to love marriage, of course, you have fallen in love with the person. You've spent enough and more time knowing about his good and his bad habits. And it can be a different kind of journey. I mean, personally, I hope that whenever, decades from now, I decide to get married, it would be a love marriage, but I cannot predict the future. As long as there is love.
Previously, it was always thought that even if you take time getting along with each other, or there's going to be some time gap between the adjustments between the two, the family used to actually take care of everything. But then now, almost most of the youth are living alone. So the parents are living in Jaipur, you're working in Bangalore, you're living with your wife. And if the problems arise, which can arise obviously in arranged marriage or a love marriage also, things in love marriage become nasty very fast. There are a lot of egos involved. In arranged marriage, you had already reconciled to the fact that there are going to be adjustments more often in life. And that basically, even if you don't get along for first 3 months or 6 months, probably people going for an arranged marriage are more patient. In a love marriage, they can be like very impulsive attitudes, or you can take very harsh decisions which you can repent later on. And when you meet later on, if you just ask yourself what actually went wrong, you cannot even put your finger onto what actually went wrong, because there are small things which pile up which make a lot of differences. This happens with everybody. This happens amongst friends, whether it is a group of 4 friends or something. Misunderstandings and all these things will always happen. So even in a love marriage, there are going to be times when everything is not going to be flowers and bouquets and all, There are going to be bricks and everything. But then, if you can handle it maturely, fine. So there's no way anybody can decide whether love marriage or arranged marriage. It all depends on your personality. It all depends on your bringing up,
You actually answered my second question, which was the divorce rates are much higher in love marriages or countries where arranged marriages don't happen. But the last question before we go to the audience is that in case of a situation where you are sensible enough to fall in love with the guy and the guy falls in love with you, and especially from the girl's point of view, this question, and the parents don't agree, how to handle that situation with the parents in a family which is not very modern, which the girl would need or would want to convince her parents. Is there something different that she can do? Be confide or take help of her elder sister?
That is normally what is done, If the parents are not agreeing, you always wait for time, you always wait for your turn till you revolt or run away or something like that. You always take help of your the other members of the families of your elder sister or your elder brother or somebody who can actually influence your parents. That is always done. And then it gets converted into a love marriage, which actually becomes an arranged marriage. But there are going to be times because parents, if you want that a parent of 50, 55 years or plus of age would change immediately, it's going to be slightly difficult. So just don't take hasty decisions. Wait for time, and time heals everything. And you can actually motivate them.